In the name of one God, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. Today we celebrate the Feast of the Epiphany, when the promised Messiah was revealed to a small band of foreigners who were following a newly discovered star. Following that star led them to the Christ child. On their journey, the Magi, which means the wise ones, had an encounter with King Herod and told him of their quest to present gifts to the new ruler whose birth the star foretold. There are actually 5 people by the name of Herod referred to in the Bible, all of whom were antagonistic towards Jesus and the early church. The Herod in today's gospel was Herod the Great, who was infamous for his brutality. It was his son who murdered John the Baptist and who was present at Jesus' trial. Herod the Great was raised a Jew, but was a client king of Rome. He was a regional ruler whose kingdom was still very much a part of the Roman Empire. Herod was by nature very suspicious and very insecure, and he had murdered several family members, including his wife, when he thought that they posed a threat to his rule. When he heard that a new king had been born in Judea, he questioned the Magi to find out the whereabouts of this child. He tried to kill the infant Jesus in what is known as the slaughter of the innocents, which we commemorate on December 28th. All male children under 2 years of age were murdered on Herod's orders. Jesus escaped only because his family fled to Egypt, becoming refugees in a foreign country until Herod's death. The Magi, meanwhile, did not return to Herod, but left for their own country by another road. How many times in our lives have we found ourselves on a road that we had no intention of traveling? Our circumstances can turn in an instant with a diagnosis or an accident or a crisis. We can suddenly find ourselves on an unexpected path when jobs or relationships end or change. Sometimes it's a new understanding or a challenging revelation, what we call having an epiphany, that can show us a different path that we may be called to take. For many, there's no going back to where we started. Like refugees making a home in a new land, we must learn to live with a new situation that's far from where we once were. Wherever we find ourselves, though, we can be certain of God's presence with us on our journey. God with us, Emmanuel. In Psalm 139, we hear this assurance: "Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and settle at the farthest limits of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me fast." The Magi found themselves on a different road when they were warned in a dream about Herod's intentions. They refused to obey the powers that be and followed God's lead instead. The Holy Family found themselves on a different road after Joseph listened to God's warning in a dream and fled to safety in another country. Even there, God's hand held them fast. Looking for Christ, following the tug of God on our hearts, being open to revelations received from Scripture or a word from a wise companion. These things can point us in the right direction when we find ourselves in new places in our lives. These are the gifts of Epiphany, the gifts of grace that God continually pours out upon us. I have a gift for each of you this morning. James, if you could bring those around. Many congregations celebrate Epiphany with star gifts, reminders of the gifts that the Magi gave to the Christ child. These stars each have a word on them that you can consider to be a gift to you. Ponder the word that you receive. Perhaps you can put it somewhere where you'll see it each day. Let God speak that word to your heart. It may be its meaning is revealed to you as time goes by. Epiphany is our yearly celebration of the light of God's presence shining through in our lives, showing us the path ahead, even in times of darkness or change. May we accept the gift of God's presence and guidance in this new year. Amen.